It's day 60, 10,046 verses left. We're in Ezekiel, and in chapter 13, he's laying into prophets who are saying that everything's going to be totally fine when in fact there's disaster on the horizon. He's so mad with them that chapter 14 is all about the judgment of God on people who worship idols, and the Wheel of Fortune from yesterday seems to have wild beasts added to it. This fearsome little section makes it pretty clear that Jerusalem cannot escape its coming destruction. There is a little bit of consolation though. Oh no, it just says they had it coming. So yesterday you got a little heads up about explicit parables, and the first one's in chapter 16. If you don't like hearing about really horrible stuff, skip this video right now. Okay then. Jerusalem is compared to a newborn baby who grows into a beautiful woman and becomes a bride. This bride then sees how beautiful everybody thinks she is, and she becomes a prostitute who ends up sacrificing her children. If that wasn't bad enough, her lovers then all turn against her and chop her into little pieces. There is a bit of consolation though. No, actually there's still no consolation. Up to this point it seems like nothing but destruction and doom, but there is a glimmer of hope in chapter 18. Just after mentioning the inevitability of death if they misbehave, God says that if they stop sinning, they'll stop dying. It's super important to see that God says he takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked, and that he'd rather people repent and live. I guess some people just like being eaten by lions. The bonkers situation here is that the people would rather die than listen to what God is asking them to do. And that's why you get this repeating phrase in chapter 20 that the man who obeys God's law will live by it if only he'd choose to do so. We also came across this in Leviticus 18:5 on day 9. But the people are just not interested in following God's laws, and so you get these further terrible warnings in chapters 21 and 22 about flashing swords and shameful sexual conduct and systematic injustice that will be severely punished. There's another super explicit parable in chapter 23 that describes Jerusalem and Samaria. It's about two sisters who become prostitutes, and they completely ruin their lives because they keep sleeping with people who are hung like... Maybe I better skip that bit. Anyway, believe me, it doesn't end well. Tune in tomorrow for a prophetic flipping tragedy.